Elliot Colburn.
Thank you, Mr Mundell, and it's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship and as a member of the Petitions Committee, an excellent opportunity for us to share petitioners' concerns here in Parliament this afternoon, and I thank the member for Gower for her opening remarks as well. In marking the opening of this debate, I'd also like to thank the 338 Carshalton and Wallington residents who signed this petition, the many more who have sent me emails about it, and to those who took part in my Snap Facebook poll overnight on this issue, which was prompted, funnily enough, by me arriving home quite late to hear fireworks being set off, and I'll say a little bit more about that later on. But just before I rose to speak, I had a check of the online poll, and in response to being asked constituents' opinions on what they thought about the petition that we are debating here this afternoon, no fewer than 680 people responded to say that they would like to either see a total ban on the sale of fireworks or at least some level of restriction, whereas 210 people responded to say that they didn't think change was necessary and they would not be happy to see any restrictions in the sale of fireworks. So quite a healthy majority. Now, as the member for Gower outlined in her opening remarks, and I totally agree, I've grown up knowing many a wonderful firework display particularly on Guy Fawkes Night in my own Carshalton and Wallington constituency. For example, the ones put on by local scout groups when I was a member of the 6th Carshalton Scout Group, but particularly the Carshalton Round Table Fireworks Night that takes place every year. And I see the Minister nodding his head. He used to live right next to the park that it took place in, I know, so I know he'll know it very well. And the Round Table do a fantastic job and put on a great event. However, I have heard from many constituents the tales of what can happen when fireworks go off, and from various organisations as well, particularly animal charities, regarding their concerns. And animals do appear to be one of the primary reasons that people have concerns about the general sale of fireworks. And I know this from personal experience. My older golden retriever, Willow, is quite frightened of fireworks. She can't seem to settle down when she hears them going off, and it's upsetting to see her in that state. But there have also been concerns about antisocial behaviour, and I heard fireworks going off last night, and this morning it came to my attention that actually this was as a result rumoured to be as a result of, I should say, I haven't had confirmation from the police yet, but that there was a group of young people letting off fireworks in a pedestrianised square in Wallington Square, which obviously caused significant damage, but also distress to the residents living near the high street. So it's not only a nuisance, it's actually highly dangerous, and I think the member for Gower again outlined that very clearly in her opening remarks. But to address this ongoing issue then, a number of solutions have been offered, both in the petition itself, but also from residents who have contacted me. And I just wanted to touch on a few of them. The first of which, perhaps the most extreme example, was the total ban of the sale of fireworks in the United Kingdom, and therefore essentially bringing an end to any firework displays happening in the UK. Now, I do think that this is a bit too heavy-handed, and I'm sure there are ways that we can find a more balanced approach, and there's been a range of other suggestions, especially around licensing, limiting to formal events only, regulating noise, limiting the dates that they can be set off, etc. And I know that the government would have considered these as part of their call for evidence back in 2018, and the petition itself does call for some of these measures. Now, I know colleagues will want to explore these options in more detail, and to allow colleagues to get in to speak, I will draw my remarks to a close, just by acknowledging the fact that I do know that the government is currently considering evidence that it started to collect back in 2018, and I know that it's currently looking at the consultation that happened by the Scottish Government, as well as our inquiry in the Petitions Committee as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what it has to say in response to those two pieces of work. But ultimately, I hope that in doing so, that the government can find a balanced approach to allow us to continue to enjoy these events, particularly around Guy Fawkes Night, but also to make sure that we are looking out for those concerns that have been raised by our constituents.